No notes today, but I have a joke. What is a chicken's least favorite day? Friday. Ah! 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 Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. It is Sunday night, and that, of course, means it's time for some viewer games. We're going to be looking at games that are submitted by you, players out there in the Phobies ecosystem. We'll see what people have in store. We'll see how exciting these games are. They always seem to find very unique plays. We'll see what we've got. But of course, before we get into everything, I have to let everybody know that I am part of the content affiliate program. That means that the Phobies team does, in fact, give me coffee for producing Phobies content. Just getting that out front. Let's get into those games. What's good, chat? Steven, Kuro, what's good? Welcome. Early hydrate action going on. You love to see it. So, yeah, we're going to be jumping into some games, chat. Still got to shave. Just been lazy about it. I don't know that, like, I don't need to shave it down. I just need to, like, trim it up so it's a little cleaner. I actually participated in a tournament myself. Not Phobies today. Not Phobies, but I participated in a tournament myself today. I bubbled out because my last round opponent was dream crushing, I guess. I could have, like, if we had intentionally drawn, I would have top 8'd because I was 5th going into the final round. And so, like, I would have made it. I ended up at 9th because I just had some extremely poor variants that didn't go my way. And as a result, I ended up bubbling out. Whiffed on the top 8 appearance, but what are you going to do? It happens. It happens, chat. You know what also happens? Phobies happens. What's happening in Phobies? We're about to find out. All right, here we are with game numero uno. It is Potenzia 2. Patience is the key to victory. It is, in fact, required in a 54-turn game! Why? Why do we do these things? Why is this a thing? I feel like people submit these games. I mean, now that we had that, like, 400-turn game or whatever the hell it was, 104 turns, people are doing it just to spite me. All right, calm down. What the... What's this? This is on level. So, like, this is not a... I mean, this is a low-level phobia, but Potenzia is kind of up there. But this is a level 15 spud. So, bad guy here decided that their best play on Mysomania is one key spud. Okay, I mean, that is the thing that can happen. Lies we know you want now. I did bubble out. In fact, you could verify it on the internet. It is posted on the internet. All right, bad guy, just getting the... What? All right, bad guy's got some really unique plays here, so this one's going to be interesting, chat. This one's going to be interesting. Just getting the old Madden setup ready to go in case we need to draw something out. I added it to see, like, this makes sense. Fire Ant on this map. So this is a map. Mysomania is a map. Mysomania is a map, chat. How about that? Did you know that? Chat, little did you know, but Mysomania is a map. Mysomania is a map that has kind of come under fire recently. I don't mind this map that much. It does kind of, interestingly enough, the Bachelor lived and tanked that. I'm a map, I'm a map, I'm a map. Yep. It's come under fire because people just don't seem to really like the play pattern on it. And I'm not sure I can disagree. I'm not sure that I can fight it that hard. All right, big boss, man. That being said, I don't hate this map. I don't know. It's one of those that it's a map but not a good one. I think it's fine. In the grand scheme of things, there are way, way worse maps, right? There are significantly better maps also. So to me, it's just by definition kind of middling. So it's it's very much this map is mid, right? Like, it sounds stupid, but that is what it is. Also, this Potentia here baiting the hell out of this boss. It's just never gonna... It's not happening. It's just not happening. Cute idea, but it's not gonna happen. That Spud is, in fact, safe from the Oopsie Baby. Not... Well, for now. I guess our hero could dive it, but now that there's Gonzo Boss there protecting also on the stem, like, whatever goes up there is gonna get annihilated. We get the Puke here, which does allow the Oopsie to poke. Ooh, powering down the boss. All right, bold move. Yeah, and then you can swing the... this makes sense. This makes sense. Get the Fire Ant down there. Yeah, as far as Mysomania goes, it's fine. I like plays like this, where... Okay, this isn't going to work out. We already... Right? But I like the idea that these plays are a thing. Open the back door here, and then... You know, try the sneak attack. But... I don't know. I guess it's not a redeeming enough quality for this map. Like, it's just not meaningful enough to swing the map back into this is viable. It is one of the early maps, and I think that the biggest thing the devs could do is actually take time off from the Phobie deployment cycle. This will never happen, for the record, but I would like to see the devs not make new Phobies and instead just release like 20 new maps. I think that would be way better. However, there is just no reality in where that happens. And I'm not saying never release new Phobies. I'm just saying, like, for the 1 year or the 2 year anniversary, rather, not 1 year, the 2 year anniversary, no new Phobies, 20 new maps. And then just permanently decom the terrible maps. It'll never happen, A, because they've obviously, I mean, we haven't seen any previews for new Phobies. But, like, let's be real. There are new Phobies coming, right? There have to be. Phobies are what drives the actual economy for the game. That's the thing people want. What people should care about are the maps, for the most part. But, and I'm not saying don't care about the Phobies, but the maps make such a dramatic impact, or can, that's... I think there needs to be more focus on that. So we get an Akira coming down, maxed out for both teams. Obviously, there's going to be an enormous Boss Gonzo play in the near future, so our hero is just going to have to play around. I don't really understand the Hydra here. Like, it's big, it's tanky. I guess pre-Akira, it's like... Maybe something works here. I don't know. All right, so I'm not going to lie. I feel like there was a Akira Gravedigger play here. Like, you use the Akira, pull your whole team up. Gravedigger now can break an obstacle, and then you just pull. Because some stuff will probably be in range. Maybe not. I don't know. Bad guy has every advantage here, so I can't blame them. See the puppy in the background. No. She doesn't want to lay in her bed. She doesn't want to lay in her bed, so you only get half a dog. She's actually, like, right behind my chair, so I have to be very careful not to move, chat, or I gotta call her name first. Oh, she's sleepy. Sleepy puppy. Where's the baby? A good girl. Anyway. But what do I want out of new maps? I want ones that encourage more aggressive lines of play is the main thing. I think it drives... So there is a... Well, let's come back to it in between the game, because this is a long enough game already. I want to get through this game. This is a 54 fucking turn game. Well, I guess we could talk about it anyway, because we've got time. So the biggest thing is I want more aggressive-minded maps, but not ones that are mindlessly aggressive, where it's if you don't push, you know, like, it's basically you don't interact. That's what we have on Moai. That's what we have on a number of other maps. but we already have a lot of stalematy things. I want things that force you to engage with your opponent. Or maybe not force, but encourage it. Like, the optimal play is to engage with your opponent. We have enough stalemate apps, and people play inherently safe anyway, just by human nature, so I don't think we need to encourage that. I think the second part, or maybe it ties into first, whatever. The other important part to remember is that we also want maps that encourage other phobies to be viable. So pick a phobie that people crap on or isn't featuring prominently. Design a map around making that a powerful phobie, essentially. The challenge there is that it gets very weird when you suggest the idea that, like, oh, well, this is this phobie's map. A, the implication is that it isn't good anywhere else. And B, the risk is that you end up where if you don't have that phobie or the appropriate counter to that phobie, you just lose. And then it's like you lose at the loading screen. So it's not necessarily making the particular phobie good. It's making the strategy that the phobie fits into viable. So if we wanted to make, like, this is bold, unless you're gonna puke on your own you can't puke on your own. Okay, you're just gonna kill it. Never mind. Never mind, chat. This is a lot of traps. I'll be honest, does bad guy, like, what the I mean, I kind of get it. Oh, bad guy. You're in for a bad day. Oh, bad guy. Really? Wow! That is a lot of damage going down. I think they could have killed the Gravedigger there. There's almost, I'm not going to rewind it because we'd have to watch the whole turn again and whatever, but, like, there's almost no way. Oh, never mind. The Gravedigger dies anyway because of the fire. This is actually wild. How does bad guy lose from the... Well, actually, they're going to lose the Akira here, aren't they? Yeah, so they're going to lose the Akira, and then it's basically these 4 phobies against our hero's entire team, which admittedly is basically 4 phobies because the Gravedigger is going to die. Our hero still has a bunch of heart health. But what I was saying before bad guy took those steps is essentially, bad guy lost this game on their own. They could have just sat back and waited for our hero to commit into them and then just punished it super hard. Because while they had a spider, and they had Oopsie Baby, and they had Honey Bear, etc., bad guy had an enormous heart health lead, and realistically could just pressure our hero whenever they wanted to, because the Akira threat was always there. If our hero ever tried to advance and mispositioned even slightly, you're just going to get blown out. Boss Gonzo, the Klepto, the Innocuous, all this other stuff. This turn after you play, people play safe because human nature. Yeah, I mean, people tend to, but this is why people do it. Is because it's very easy to go, oops, I lose. It's very easy to make one of these plays and just be like, because how commanding was bad guy's lead? And then all of a sudden they just pissed it all away. It didn't have to be like this. It didn't have to be this way. Didn't have to be this way. But I think there are aspects of the game that encourage this sort of play where it's just... You think this is 54 turns with the opponent speeding up the game? Yeah, exactly. Well, because the larger maps have that additional health pool, so that one panic point advantage just doesn't end the game quickly enough. And I've said this before, but I think one of the answers for the new map design is to scale the panic points and everything harder. Because well, I guess the panic point relationship, I'd have to double check the math, but I guess the panic point relationship is probably the same as far as level 1 to level 30 as far as the health goes, because the heart health doesn't increase any further. But I think more damage from the panic points onto the heart / lowering the heart health overall on both big and small maps, and also making the tiles matter more. Basically, the ladder overall, I keep repeating the same words and phrases, and it's coming out kind of weird. The ladder is a strange beast because the game isn't being played the way the devs intend it to be played, sort of. Obviously, there's an intent here, but the game with everything set to level 1 just has different relationships between the tiles, the phobies, the general structure of the game than regular ladder games. Regular ladder games instead have this other challenge of, well, my guys are level 30 or whatever, so therefore, essentially, the lava tiles, for example, are meaningless because I just have so much health that I'll just tank it. It'll still hit certain breakpoints. It'll still allow certain phobies to die or score a kill in scenarios that they wouldn't if they just went head-to-head, but the ratios of things are just off. What the hell is... like, what is this Gonzo doing? I don't know what bad guy is doing. I guess they're going to try and push over here. And I get that this Gonzo is, like, running for its life desperately. Bad guy just kind of split their forces. I know I wasn't doing a lot of commentary specifically on the game, but this kind of feels less like... I don't know. Bad guy just threw hard, is what it appears. $692 hard health, though. Hashtag just saying. Opponent trying to find the least efficient way to lose. It sure seems that way. And you know what's funny? Is they could almost win this anyway. Why aren't you targeting the boss? I mean, the Inoculus clearly... like, honestly... wait, 1, 2, 3... okay, the Inoculus could have hit it. What does bad guy do here? Why? I'm pretty sure... oh, no, there was fire here. Okay, so there was fire. I was going to say if bad guy takes the healing spot, they live. They actually, would they? If bad guy had taken the healing spot, I think they win. I'm pretty sure they win because they would have... the honey bear dies... no, because the honey bear wouldn't have died to fire because they attacked the honey bear. Never mind. Never mind. It wouldn't have lived. Or they wouldn't have won. Never mind. This is just an enormous lake of fire. The 8th circle of hell over here. And now boss is going to get run down by Oopsie Baby. Which is hilarious. It's absolutely comical. Luffy with the random toy. Shout out to Luffy. I gotta remember at some point, like, chat will have to remind me when they're getting tired of the pictures that are there, and I'll have to rotate them, because I'm only allowed to have so many on Trigger Fire. I'm sure there's, like, a premium version of Trigger Fire, in which case, excuse me. Upload more, but I haven't looked into it. There's several things that I'm at that point in the stream where it's like, I could improve the stream if I spend money. But then I'm just kind of like setting money on fire. Boss forced to retreat, can't even heal. Backed into a corner. There's no way to get... This is checkmate. Like, there's just no way to get away from Boss Baby here. Panic point advantage, 4-1, blue. Get the feeling bad guys just... Yep. GG. Potenzia winning the marathon. I have to say bad guy just kind of hunted that one. Aside from the whole, why did you even attack? Like, why did you push? Aside from that, I think they also just took some really strange paths, separating their team and then ultimately just hemorrhaging everything by walking on a trap. GG. A real you only won because I lost moment. I feel like I should make t-shirts for that. I feel like that's now a thing. But like, that was a great example of you won because I lost. Because bad guy just took that game and punted it into the stratosphere. But speaking of stratosphere, we got Kuro here. I don't know how that fits. I'm not gonna lie. I was just saying things, basically. But Kuro here is our hero. Got pretty close. I think they tried to bully me with levels. Well, the word on the street is that Karth has a few levels. Got a few. For my league team, the classic slogan I hit him with is we clutch defeat from the jaws of victory. Yep, that one's... It's very true. Still one of the funniest things overheard in a tournament. Magic players are wild. I mean, it's one of those sayings. You only won because I lost. Ooh, Karth with the jammy fish. All right, bad guy. All right. By the way, the Tooth Fairy quickly overtaking Murder Wing from a lot of players. But it's a funny statement on its surface, but it does make sense to a degree. I mean, it is kind of a John Madden-esque statement of, well, the team that scores the most points today is probably going to win the game. It's like, you don't say, John. Rip. Rip John Madden. So, I don't really love the creep onto the Tooth Fairy here. The reason being is that the Tooth Fairy can just walk away and heal itself. Sort of. Fly away. But it is not taking that particular path. At least not for now. Reason being is because you want to take down on the creep. So essentially, it's a creep for muffin trade. Assuming Kuro decides to preserve Phobie. Now, Kuro's response of Pterodactyl, not quite the same as... yeah, we got dragons on the other side. And Puff, I'm excited to unlock Puff. I'm excited to unlock Puff. Yep, in fact, we are going to get the muffin. Puff is really strong on this map. All the Bloms are really strong on this map. Well, maybe not all of them. I guess Blastomatic's probably not that good. It's going to take you, like, half the Mesozoic to get it into position. You know, continuing a little bit from the map discussion from really Red Speedola. Yeah, I see where the bullying with levels comes in, because, like, why do you want that here? Creep nearly died to the poison. What? Oh, Tooth Fairy. I was like, what? When did Creep get poisoned? I'm real confused. Sarcasm poison kind of matters here because it is super significant, and as mentioned, there's a slight level differential here, level 23 versus level 12. It's almost literally double. I forgot what I was going to say about the maps, chat, and the leveling system. Oh, that's what it was. So, part of the issue with evaluating phobies and level 1s versus the existing leveling system and stuff is that it's just really difficult to say, yeah, this is how these phobies are supposed to work, because sometimes you just end up... Did this thing just die? Oh, okay. I was going to say, if you just killed the Speedola, that would actually be comical. It's almost dead, but... because levels are all over the place, it's difficult to say sometimes, is this thing balanced or imbalanced, because sometimes you're just going to get blown out by whatever. So this is kind of a bold move, because this Noxious can come in and get a lot of value here, which I'm assuming this is a bait. Because this splashes the heart. No! Oh, no, not like this! Did bad guy not see it? So, like, they could have moved here, hit the heart, splashed, blommed, and then maybe killed this with the Speedola? Because the Speedola was here, I think, so 1, 2, 3, and then you... Well, if you kill this, then it gets pulled into the abyss. But, like, these 3 would have been poison. I don't know, like, just attacking this... You still get the Blom here, but I guess the red Speedola is going to kill this. Okay, so you still get the takedown. I guess that's fine. I guess that's fine. It's key positive. You get 10 for 6, I think. I think the red one's 6. Just play better and open 300 packs. 300 Dreadful, specifically. Thing is, if the game is intended for level differential to matter, what happens when players start capping? I don't think the game is intended for that. I mean, it obviously does function that way, but I don't think the perfect game state is intended to be with levels. Unless the assumption is with levels, everyone's max level, you know what I mean? Because then everybody's even. Because that's a thought that I've had before of, is the intended level situation that the devs are looking at, not that everyone's at level 1, but instead that everybody's at level 30, and us out-leveling the tiles and things like that is intended. I don't know that there's a great answer for that right now. So our hero here, 6 keys remaining, but down a lot. All right, this, like... The Puff didn't have to die. If this was any other healer, or they didn't... It basically comes down to bad guy who's throwing stuff away, because yes, it seems like they were just trying to bully on levels. How important is tile damage healing meant to be? Exactly. Like, these are decisions that, as far as I know, the devs have not officially stated. Certified Karth Gaming? I guess? Chat, unrelated. Would I pay $180 to get into an alpha? For a game that looks really good? My mind says no, but my heart is telling me yes. And all my wife is yelling no at me, or what? You're probably going to do that? I don't know, Luffy. Like, the game does look good, but we're talking... It's the pre-alpha right now. The alpha, real alpha, doesn't even start till March. The beta is sometime after that. Ray and Blue Link nearly kill my Hevo on their own. They got to connect, though. I mean, yes, Ray. Ray is not going to be a challenge, but Bluelian is a little different story. Speaking of Bluelian, Blue! I think no, unless everything carries. Yeah, I don't know. It's very pricey. If it was like 40, 50 bucks to get the game, to like play in the alpha, and then like you get the game afterwards. Because all of the costs for this say, yeah, you'll get a discounted game afterwards, whatever that means. I would be way more inclined to do it. But right now, It's just too much money. Too much money for an unknown quantity. Little boopage. We've got the boops. All right, so I imagine this Hevo's donezo. But this is splitting a bad guy's forces. Very well played here by Kuro overall, to be perfectly honest. Like, admittedly, bad guy participated a little bit in their own demise, let's be real. But, and now we've had 2 bad guys there. You only won because I lost, but it's true. I don't think if, and I've lost games like this myself to somebody who's way lower level than me, because it realistically is due to level differential in a lot, like maybe not a lot, but some circumstances, you just can't overcome it unless the one player makes some egregious errors. What the hell is this thing doing down here? And to be honest, I could see players in Hoploys or Karths or other, you know, whale-esque positions just kind of throwing games because 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100, 999,000 times out of, you know, like a 0.99999, their actions don't matter because either the other person just surrenders when they see it, they crap their pants and leave, or if they stay, it just boils down to, I'm just going to body you with levels. There's not much you can do. So, when someone actually puts up a fight, it's not that they are bad. It's just that they probably don't need to concentrate all that often. Your poor heart HP. It was cutting it close here. 705. We had 2 games in a row. Pretty close, but GG. Well played for overcoming, climbing the mountain, as it were. GG. 2 days until Fusion World server tests. Not much since it's only 5 days of game time, but still enough to form an opinion and be disappointed. My gut is going with I'll be disappointed. So Bandai is doing that game, right? Because I actually went to a tournament in real life this weekend. I shouldn't have, but I did. And apparently Bandai is the publisher behind Battle Spirit Saga. And I ran into some people that I knew from other games. And I was talking to them, and they had said that, so shout out to them, first of all. But they had said that Battle Spirit Saga was actually a really strong game. However, Bandai basically made some idiotic, decisions with the marketing. So they ran like, I'm going to say $1 million Pro Tour, but I don't know if it was. Don't forget Random Toy. Well, the Random Toy was a pop-up thing. It's not a toy reveal. We can do that too, but like, there's a point redemption for Random Toy now. See? There you go. So apparently they ran like a $1 million Pro Tour or whatever, like whatever the amount was. That was a pre-release. So everybody, yeah, that one does a pop-up. Then there's the toy, like talk about a toy review thing. So they do this pre-release and let people that are there early access to buying product. So the idea was that you get everybody excited and then they go to their store and get everybody excited. But what ended up happening is they apparently required, and this is all like secondhand, I don't know if this is true, but it's interesting, especially in the context of like, how do you properly market a game? Well, they have this pre-release, have a ton of people, and guarantee prizes to the point where it's like, they're paying out actual cash to top 256, and only like 100 people show up. So it's like just by playing, you are profiting. All right, problem number 1, right, for the company as it goes. Great for the players, but sucks for the company. Then they sell all this product to these players. The players then proceed to not buy from their local gaming store because they have all the product already, right? The gaming stores allegedly were required to not just order for set 1, but also set 2 and set 3, and there were like minimums. So because they hyped everything, The stores front-loaded all this product, but then there was nobody to buy the product because everyone already bought it. So now it's rotting on store shelves to the point where I could go to where one of the local stores that I play at, and a box of product is $25. By comparison, the MSRP for Lorcana, the Disney card game, is $143, and most stores are marking it up to like $180 minimum. So by comparison, if the store has to sell it undercut for $25, you can imagine how much loss they're taking on this. And they were forced into buying multiple sets. Like, they're still going to be paying for it months out from now. Sounds like the game was really great for like a week. Well, apparently their Worlds or whatever is happening next month, and it's also allegedly guaranteed prizing to a ridiculous degree. And I just... Bandai has this reputation of ruining things. Now, like, One Piece and Digimon have properties attached to them. Not to say that DBZ doesn't, but we'll get there. They have properties attached to them, so they can kind of do the Disney and Pokemon thing where it's like, you don't need as much, like, you don't have to have as good of a game because you're going to have a native player base because there's people who just want to buy the cards for the sake of collecting them. But if you can get, like, you have a good game and you have that, then clearly you have something better on your hand, right? Because you get the gamers and you get the people who are just buying, and then hopefully there's enough to continue the game rolling. Especially because it feeds into selling product, and then cracking of more packs means that there's more singles out there, depressing singles prices, making it easier to get into the game, etc. Like, there's a bunch of advantages. You would think that DBZ is going to have these same advantages, whereas Battle Spirit Saga is like obviously a made-up property. And the problem is, I just don't have a lot of faith in Bandai. They have a reputation. Like, this is, I'm not exaggerating, I think like their 7th Dragon Ball Z game in the US, not counting all the ones in Japan. So, I don't know, we'll see. Remember that TMNT TCG that was watered down Yu-Gi-Oh? I have some of the cards from it. I never played it. Because I bought a starter years ago. You can't find cards for it. It's a problem. Otherwise, I would have tried it. There's two TMNT card games that I'm aware of, and I've designed a few myself. I haven't really gotten them past initial prototype stages, just because I'm a big Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles person. But it's astonishing to me that it's never gotten like a true pushed game. I remember doing an in-store demo for it, and I've never seen product for it. I had to get mine off eBay, but I do remember seeing them in like Walmart checkout lanes years ago. Because now, like, wasn't that game in like 2005 or something? It was years ago now. Certainly wasn't Reason, I don't. Unless we're talking about there's a third one or something. All right, SuccusbusAloo up next. This map is the one where I have most wins. I mean, this is a pretty solid map. I do have some silent game recordings that will be coming out over the next couple weeks. I gotta, actually render them. I've recorded the games, and I had a hell of a time recording, who was it? I think it was Dragon Shadow Force, maybe on this map. I think it was Dragon Shadow Force on this map, which was a cool game, but I was just... Obs was fighting me the whole damn time, and I, no joke, had to record the game like 7 times before it finally did it right. Now, I'm sure when I go back, there's going to be some other issue. So this is interesting from Bad Guy here. Both players going with flyers. Decent start. The Droney start here is interesting. Presumably, it could not kill the cat. Droney, of course, not exactly an offensive powerhouse. So that means... yeah, cat's going to get to hang out here, at least for a little bit. It's probably going to back off, yep, because Jin Sting's a big deal. Something like that. I think I was playing WoW at the time it came out, or right around then. I wouldn't be surprised. A little meatballage. This seems suspect, Bad Guy. I don't know about that one. Yeah. Penicillin's not fixing that one. Sorry, buddy. It's rough. It's rough. So, bad guy trading Murder Wing for Droney. I don't get that one, to be honest. Like, that just seems wrong. Like, am I incorrect here, chat? Like, am I insane? It just seems wrong. I'm gonna trade my decent... Does this die to the disease? It doesn't die to the disease, though. I guess because of the life leech. It manages to live a little bit longer. Maybe this is what I was talking about earlier. Maybe this play isn't as bad as I'm thinking, because the disease, ultimately, the disease tiles and stuff here just aren't that impactful. The same with the poison tiles. They do matter. Obviously, any damage matters. There are now breakpoints that are available for your opponent that weren't there before, but do they really matter? This is also interesting, because bad guy just sacked the cat for nothing? I don't know. Ooh, a little snappy. This is a phobia you don't see very often. We get a little snappy action, but panic point advantage hero. Okay. Bad guy's just gunning for this Jin Sting. So ultimately, this will die. It did not go without a fight. It did not vanish. I don't remember how the speech from Stay goes. Either way, it's dead. The bats get eaten alive by bees, apparently. So, it will force our hero to either generate a healing phobie, or at the very least a muffin, which I guess is generating a healing phobie, but like, you know, a transient one in that case. Ultimately, the cat is going to trade for this Maggie. A little bit longer term than bad guy probably wanted. I feel like they could have swung the snowball down here to recap the point, and it would have been valuable. The question is, does our hero with 11 keys available want to push with this Snappy? Because it could tank a lot of this. I doubt there's enough damage here. It's possible. Snappy's pretty beefy. Holy crap, look at this Jin Sting. Talk about your magic pixel. Talk about your magic pixel here. That was... Find the button. I might use this as the thumbnail here. Fighting game champ right there? Yup. But Blulian to save the day temporarily? So what I think I would have liked to have seen was the Snappy in front of the Hevo. The reason being is to deter a push to kill this. Wait, how the hell did this heal so much? Was there a muffin that I missed or something? Was this thing not just at, like, 0 health? What was that health bar from, then? Am I seeing things, chat? Was this thing not just at the magic pixel with, like, literally 0 health? Maybe a visual bug? It had to be, because, like, okay, something weird is happening here right now. Something weird is happening right now. I don't know what that was. Because I definitely saw that. I definitely saw that. And that's why I was saying maybe reposition the Snappy, because I'm anticipating that something is going to come charging in, whether it's the Snowball or the Noxious, probably the Snowball. But then it turns out, nope, it's actually perfectly healthy, so... Getting a little repositioning here. I don't know that I love this. I mean, I guess it's fine. But, like, the Noxious can get a free hit here with poison. Admittedly, the poison doesn't really matter because the Blue Leon's on the board. Like, this will just reposition onto the Spa because it lasts forever. Honestly, I do wonder if Blue Leon got nerfed so that it had one less turn. That feels like a waste of a pull, but I guess you take kills when you get them. If Blue Leon had one less turn on its Spa, would it be dramatically worse or just worse? And honestly, I'm not sure, because sometimes it feels like the Spas are permanent, or effectively permanent. If you're not in a position where you're in dire straits, it generates so much long-term value. But again, this could be just a ladder thing where we're just thinking that it's this powerful because of the way the ladder works. And there's the Akira. Bad guy. Prepare to meet bad time. It's gonna be bad! It's gonna be bad! You know what's funny is there's no boss. There isn't, like, a really big nasty on the board. The bad guy is going to invade here because they know they're going to get yoinked anyway. So they're like, well, if I hit the Jin Sting at the very least, or if I remove the Jin Sting at the very least, that's one less set of damage that's coming down. Gonzo can reposition in order to buff, say, Snappy, but honestly, that's not going to matter because you're going to get the pull, and then the Snappy's going to be closer to everything. Like, if you Akira from this spot right now, you probably kill this. Snappy's in range. Blue Leon repositions. Oh, you're going to reposition the Gonzo. All right. I guess you have to do this. Snappy spreading the love. 0 keys, 5 remaining for bad guy. Oh, by the way, there's still 2 healing spas. They've been out there for like 1,000 lifetimes. Notably, this wasn't like an incredibly dominating Akira pull. You get the snowball takedown, you get the Ray kill. But the rest of your team is kind of exposed here. You got 2 hits here, 2 hits here, 2 hits here, 2 hits here, 1 hit from this. How can bad guy punish? Oh, and bad guy still has 5 keys. They do need to chew through a lot of HP. Snappy, Blue Leon, Hevo is not to be taken lightly. This is cute, though. Unfortunately, it still spells doom. There had to have been a better way to do that. There had to have been a better way to do that. Sizzle, the penultimate phobie. Don't ask me why. No idea why. Wonder if bad guy just felt as though they could not win at this stage. So, Chad, I think I'm going to do a reaction video to Karst's game suggestions as we're watching the end of this game. What level is that turtle thing? I forgot the name. That is dead, but it is Snappy. It's level 13. Versus our Sizzle here that's level 14. This is a fairly high-level game. We've gotten a few Succubus games before, or a couple Succubus games before, and they are pretty high level. So now it's 3v4. One of the 4 being a Quagmire. This is like a very healthy team, honestly. However, bad guy's heart fairly exposed. You need to, like, hard defend here, and I don't know if there's enough time to do that. That Sizzle is regretting many life decisions. Snappy and bad side still need some levels. Oh, you're Snappy and bad side, fair. Can body block out the Akira, but you're giving up this panic point. You can't body block out the Tooth Fairy from connecting with the heart. I think we can all see how this game is going to end. Well played, Succubus. Honestly, like I said, the Akira pull didn't look fantastic. I wonder... We didn't look at that closely and dissect it. I wonder if bad guy just... Their response was just bad. It looked like they could have done something, but again, there was just an enormous amount of HP to choose. The phobies that were available for our hero are just super tanky. Regardless, GG, well played. Yeah, chat, I think we're going to do a reaction video at some point to Karst's suggestions, because I did send Karst a number of my requests for the game. Not that I disagree with the one that Karst had, but there were other ones that I think could be added to the list that I think, it's not just me, like other people have suggested these things too. And I think it's worth talking about, partially because of my rant last night. Hydrate action. Like, I think it's worth talking about, and I wanted to do a what does Phobies need? I want to do what does Phobies need video anyway. So this is a good format for pull it up, and we'll go point by point and talk. I don't know if I'll do that offline or on stream. I think I'll do it offline, or I'd like to do it offline. We might do it on stream one day. I don't know. Maybe we'll do it next week. Best toy for throwing. I have a football upstairs. Does that count? I have to go find it. If you mean, like, literally throwing? Bet you didn't... Guess that wins by default. Well, here's one. I had to check to make sure the dog wasn't behind me. This is Stitches. Stitches is an abomination. Put him over here so you can see him better. Stitches is an abomination from the Warcraft universe. Stitches also is missing his meat cleaver and sickle that he's supposed to have. He's also supposed to have, like, a hook chain thing. Like, they actually go... Like, if you look at his hands here, you can slide stuff in here. Like, you can actually... you can't go, like, all the way through, but, like, he can grip it. And that's also true of his third arm up here. So, like, there's a little pouch for his... there's a sickle that goes here, and then there's a meat cleaver that goes here. There's somewhere. Probably in the bedroom. There was one year that we brought Stitches to Gen Con, and I carried him around in a baby carrier. Like one of those things you strap to your chest, like this. I carried him around Gen Con in a baby carrier. And I made all my opponents that I played in the various TCG tournaments that I played, I made them take a picture with Stitches so that I could do a tournament report. It's still up on the website, rtchompgg.com. You can find a link for that in the video description, although nobody's going to watch this part because they're going to think it's like a really long game from Succubus. But yeah, Stitches, he's obviously like, yeah, this is, they want to get that checked out. Never knew Warcraft Stitches had a plush, kind of weak in Warcraft Rumble. He also has, we'll call it an open wound here. His mouth also opens, sort of, like he'll fold down. Kind of see in mouth here. Sludge on his lips. Abominations are funny creatures. Despite the horrors of the Warcraft universe, even in the old RTS games, they always tried to inject some levity. So even in Warcraft 2, the ogres and the ogre magi would have like fart jokes and stuff if you clicked on them a whole bunch. And the abominations typically are also big dum-dums because they're supposed to be like enormous Frankenstein monster-esque creatures. And they make a big joke out of it. But Stitches, obviously, in WoW, definitely a terror in Heroes of the Storm. Not great in the WoW TCG, from what Steven's saying, not great in Warcraft Rumble either. Abominations are okay in Warcraft 3. They've gotten buffs in recent years. But as far as being throwable, well, he's a plushie, so... probably pretty good for being thrown. How about that one, chat? Coming off the toy review, let's look at a Dino Nuggy game. No notes today, but I have a joke. What is a chicken's least favorite day? Friday. Ah! I might have to use that as the intro, chat. I'm writing that down. Use that as the intro, chat. Yeah, Stitch is going to eat any of your units, but kind of weak versus Swarm. Also, Stitch is a boss unit. Interesting. Okay. I mean, that was one of his ultimates in Heroes of the Storm is Gorge. He can literally eat you. The other one is he, like, almost literally shits out a trail of slime. It's supposed to be, like, bile and acid and whatever, and it's, you know, it slows and damages enemies that are caught in it. The other one is he just swallows an enemy whole and then carries them for a while. So, like, you can hook somebody, pull them in, gorge them, run back to your team, vomit them out after a certain amount of time, and then surprise your whole team is there to greet them. Abominations in Warcraft 3, however, behave significantly differently. They're just a big tier 3 meat shield unit for the undead. They do have a stench cloud ability, or disease cloud, that damages nearby units. And they can now cannibalize. They didn't used to be able to. But other than that, they're like... I mean, they're big damage sponges. That's about it. So we're getting a weird one out of Nuggy here. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what the purpose of Baby Snakey is here. But for now, somebody's getting a new belt. I don't know. Do you think Undead Snake makes a good belt? Or is it more that it was a belt and it became undead and then now it's no longer good because clearly it's dead again? Well, this game is being very violent. Bad guy is being hyper-aggressive about this. The cat is somewhat stranded up here. I would have liked to have seen it swing the other way. Just because, okay, it can whack the Klepto once and then die, I guess. The Ray is being aggressively positioned, but I don't think there's really any way to punish it. Every 12 seconds, he hooks a unit and eats them. Spawns, I think, every 90 seconds, except the first Warcraft Rumble. I kind of want to play more Rumble. Honestly, I would play Rumble if it was on Steam. And I know I say this for a lot of mobile games, but I just don't want to play a game on my phone. I just really don't. I did a lot initially, and then I just stopped. And I think I put $1 into the game. Like, literally $1. I didn't really want to put in more money because I don't know how long Blizzard is going to support it. Or Microsoft now, I guess. Like, the game is good. I think Rumble's actually pretty decent. I enjoyed my time with it. I just don't want to play on... The bad guy being super aggressive here, as mentioned, can definitely snipe this Inoculus if they want it. But they're going to pay with a Klepto first. Down goes Klepto. We already saw a previous hero win on this map, being down a lot. That doesn't seem to be the way this game is going to go. What? Is Nuggy just going to break this with a Gravedigger? Wait, the Gravedigger's already dead, right? Yeah, their Gravedigger's dead. Never mind. And you're just going to beat the snot out of this thing anyway. Alright, it's just dead in a different manner. The other option is BlueStacks. Also, there's currently a Blackrock hero. Assuming that's a dwarf. I don't recognize that character. Must be a Dark Iron Dwarf. Based on the name. I don't want to do BlueStacks. I haven't, like, I'm aware of BlueStacks. I haven't looked into the security elements of it enough to be comfortable doing it. It boils down to putting my account in there. I guess I could create a dummy account, but then if I do anything with it, it's not tied to the account, and clearly enough people use it that, like, if there was a security flaw in it, I imagine someone would have found it by now. But that's what it comes down to. So bad guy, all of a sudden, a much less powerful fetch. 6 keys. Sparky, because reasons. That Sparky's dead. Should be. 6 keys available for our hero as well. Wiggy and Blanky. I'm not gonna lie. I don't. What the hell happened in this game, chat? I mean, I watched it. I followed it. But there was some weird shit. Bad guys just... So this is... Pulling back to, I think it was a Tonus question early on, what do I want to see out of maps? And I said I wanted more aggressive options out of maps. Bad guy was super aggressive here. Now, admittedly, there's a difference between being aggressive and reckless. And you could absolutely say the bad guy was being reckless. But the point is, there's no way for bad guy to have reasonably been aggressive on this map. Unless they're doing what we saw earlier with breaking the bottom obstacle or top obstacle, depending on which side you're on, and kind of harassing the heart. But that's more harass than aggression. The point is that the map really encourages more passive gameplay. And ultimately, when bad guy tried to extend, they overextended and got punished for it real hard. This game was over in 19 turns as compared to the 54 from the earlier game. And to be honest, it was never in doubt. Like, look at this. They still have 65, 75% of their heart health. 6 keys remaining, and this was just not a contest. Dino Nuggy just dominating. GG. I don't hate this map. I kind of like Mysomania, sort of. Like, it, as I said, it's a mid map. It's acceptable. I'm not going to hate myself too much if I play it as compared to some other maps. But at the same time, it does come down to these weird scenarios where... Not weird. It does come down to these frustrating scenarios, that's a better way to say it, that you can't meaningfully progress the game state. You are progressing the game state, but not dramatically. And the flip side of it, it's a fine line to walk, because you can easily say, oh, well, if it's super snowbally, you are dramatically advancing the game state, but that means one mistake and the game is over. And that kind of is already true scenario. It just happens more slowly. So maybe if it's the same game, where it's the same mistake at whatever point really causes the game to end, but it feels worse if the game ends the next turn. Whereas in this, what we've seen on multiple occasions is that the game effectively ended, but we're just going through the motions. Which then gives the player who's winning the opportunity to throw, which means that the person who's losing is technically never out of the game, but it still feels bad. I don't know. It's weird. That's why I said it's a fine line to walk. But fine lines, like and subscribe. I don't know. Xcrowley, our hero. I finally win versus Endies. Endius? I'm going to go with Endies because it's funnier. It sounds like a D's Nuts joke. Using Akira, Rusty, Paddles, Bad Omen, once again, lol, and Blue. My dive was super risky, but I managed to grab the win by playing Controlling with Divey Debuffer. All right. Jammy Fish. You'll love to see it. Honestly, this is a cool usage of Jammy Fish. So it means that Jammy Fish is on the board, and you got 7 keys on turn 1. Admittedly, 3 of them are in Jammy Fish, but you can reuse that ability again later on. It's a ranged attacker, so you can poke, you can harass. I think there's value to this. And I think that's a dead cat. It is an early panic point advantage, but this should be a dead cat. Gravedigger plus even Jar should do it. It does give bad guy an early advantage, and I would have liked to have seen, I think, Jar up here, although maybe the damage here works out. Oh, it's Thorsan. Yeah, the way you had spelt it earlier didn't register, but yes, I recognize that name. It smells like my wife burning something upstairs. I think she's reheating some pizza in the toaster oven, and it's... I don't know. Our toaster oven... This is going to sound weird, but, like, it smells very strong whenever anybody runs it. I don't know why. It like, more so than any other toaster oven I've been around. Which seems weird to me. Get a little panic point flippage here. Spatula to the center is fine, I guess. Dead guy playing around the Rusty. So I will say, as sad as Rusty is, it is impacting the game here. Because otherwise you could... I guess it's late enough. There are too many keys available. You can't safely put Quagmire here anyway, but you definitely can't put Quagmire there due to the Bachelor pull with Rusty's availability. Yeah, I mean, that's fair, Steven. Some of the... I don't expect you to remember the names of all the characters, the appropriate spelling. Alright, so we're trading out Bachelors here. Tickle's skittering on in. And there's Akira. I'm not gonna lie, the way the notes read initially is I thought bad guy had all these things. Or some of these things. Ugh. Tired, chat. So, chat, I will warn you now. I don't know how the stream schedule is going to go next week. Because I have some real-life stuff to take care of. And, it may cause some problems for streaming next weekend. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Jammy Fish, laying the beat down. I guess we do already have Jammy Fish as a jellyfish, because we were talking about Inoculus getting reskinned, or reworked as far as visuals for other phobie types aside from mechanical. So if we had, you know, a dimensional Inoculus, it could be a jellyfish instead of an octopus, because we already have Octonauti. Not that you can't have more than one octopus. We have plenty of things that, like, we have multiple spiders, for example, and they all look very different. But I actually just had a thought. I'm trying to picture Miss Moffat, chat. Because Miss Moffat, does she have, like, true spider eyes? You know, where there's, like, no pupil? Because there's no eyes on Sockassin. Henrietta has, like, that ginormous singular eye. Which is just kind of weird. But, okay. The monster spider. Yeah, Miss Moffat kind of has the more typical spider eyes. We don't have a Kraken-looking or based phobia. You could make an argument that Smother Mother is a ground Kraken. I think that would be reasonable. The whole eye bulb thing, like when it pops out to do the pull, is stretching it a bit. But I think that there's something there. Also, dueling a kid. This is a cute play. This is cute. Yeah, I mean, Octonauti realistically is just a miniature Kraken, arguably. Depending on what Kraken lore you subscribe to. Honestly, chat, like and subscribe might be the worst Akira map. It is the one that I've seen Akira versus not Akira. The Akira loses most frequently. Very strange set of descriptions there. But basically, I've seen Akira lose on this map against not Akira more often than I have on any other map. There it is. Who's the paddles on? I had a feeling. Question is, are we going to get this kill on the tractor? You kind of have to. In fact, we do. Down goes a tractor. That's a great takedown even. The disease here is a big deal. Of course, it's going to mess with the healing on Mucus Monster here. It's actually going to overtake it just slowly. And of course, it's an enormous amount of damage on this Akira. Although the Akira is probably going to get a pull this turn. Only 3 keys remaining for bad guy, though. Just lost a boss in beauty. I miscounted and got my Akira firkened. Oh, no. Yeah, I guess Firkin is really the intended response to Akira and a lot of these other things. Obviously, the goal is, if you are going against Firkin, you can sort of just overload. Okay, I was about to say, that thing has to die, otherwise why did you move it? You kind of have to overload the Firkin so they have so many targets they can't deal with it. But A, that's easier said than done, depending on your collection. Ooh, get a little rusty action. And B, I don't know, it's just really, it's just not a easy task to complete. I know I'm repeating the same point, but that's what it boils down to. Blue! We get a lot of blue tonight, chat. Love to see it. Love to see it. This was an interesting one. Interesting in this, at least as far as you can say about Akira mirrors. I do like the response. I think this is another one where bad guy kind of played into it, but you can't. Also, I always love when it's poison and disease there because you can see the symbol switch. It just looks cool. So what am I trying to say? It's Akira mirrors are skillful. I don't know if it's an interesting enough skill to justify skill testing with it. That makes sense. Like, I don't want to... Down goes Akira. I don't know if it makes the games interesting enough to justify watching Akiras stare at each other repeatedly for like 1,000 turns until they ultimately go off, whatever. Yeah, Crowley just kind of taken over this game. Ultimately, that Akira yoink into the smiley push, the paddles play, great. 100% dominated this game. And at this stage, it's all over but the crying. Eventually, this Quagmire will go down. Actually, pretty soon. Oh, we get an Akira pull? Lol. I'd almost forgotten that it would be back up this turn. Paddles on the stim, 1,200 damage! Get wrecked, Bowmangles. He's getting bodied. But yeah, this game is a kind of a perfect encapsulation of my Keck W 1207 from Battles. Yep. This game is kind of a perfect encapsulation of my argument about how Akira is balanced. Both players had Akira, and it boiled down to who played the Akira better. And obviously the surrounding game. And Crowley did. Crowley won. But is that a game, a gameplay loop, a gameplay pattern that we really want to repeat over and over and over and over and over and over and over again? No. So therefore, the actual issue is not the balance, because it is balanced. It's totally fair. Both players have access to the same tools, and it's who uses them better. It's just that most people find mirrors boring in pretty much 100% of games. People don't tend to enjoy playing ZVZ or PvP or TVT in StarCraft, or Undead versus Undead in Warcraft, or Night Elf versus Night Elf, Orc versus Orc, or Human versus Human, or pick a game. Pick a strategy game, and most people don't like playing mirrors. Card games, same thing. People don't like playing the mirror. And of course, there are people out there that are the exception to the rule, but that's because they have it figured out or whatever. And they enjoy the winning part, usually, not how the actual mirror plays out. That does happen occasionally, but again, it is a minority of cases. So people want the variety, but variety and balance are like completely different discussions most of the time. I don't mind mirrors, but I prefer diverse meta where a mirror crops up and isn't just the meta. Yeah, I think people want inherently the variety of gameplay. They want to be able to play different kinds of games within the ecosystem of the game. And that's why Akira and other Phobies like Boss and Gonzo are problematic, because they do, like, you can broaden the idea of the balance to say, yeah, they are way better than everything else, so they push out an unfair amount or unreasonable amount of other game pieces. But I don't think there's a reality, certainly not this reality, where every Phobie is a reasonable play. So then the question becomes, how many is acceptable? How few Phobies can we have to have a diverse enough meta that people won't complain? Obviously, we'll never appease everybody, but... And I don't have an answer to that question. Because to be honest, other than the Akira issue, which I personally find very grating, and then maybe one or two others, for the most part, I think it's fine. Oh, Karth is going to show up a lot on here. Rossarius actually submitted 2 against Karth. This one's going... We're going all the way back to last year, chat. 2023, December. Almost 2024. Karth is featuring prominently as our bad guy. Eventually, Karth will submit a game of their own for gameplay breakdowns. But for now, they're going to get put under the microscope because Rossarius is our hero. It was winnable, but not quite. Karth stopping me as always, but this time it was way closer. All right. Well, I didn't... Rossarius actually submitted a couple games against Karth. This was the first of the 2. I didn't notice that they had lost. So shout out to Rossarius submitting an L. Of course, we looked at Karth's stuff earlier, level 24s. We're looking at 6 to 7 levels underneath for our hero. Yeah, as far as mirror matches go, in a game like Phobies, putting the level differentials aside, because of course if it's a mirror and your opponent is higher level, well, guess what? They have the advantage, plainly, because you have the same guys, and theirs are better than yours. And depending on the levels, it could be technically insurmountable. Although, obviously, we saw in a different Karth is a bad guy game, somebody take it, or hero take it anyway. But it's just hard for me to say that in a game where you can have the identical pieces, and we have debatably a compensating mechanic in... Also, I would have maybe liked to have seen the stabby go up top here, then have the bow, like, here. I don't know if that really makes a difference, but... Because Karth could have, like, hard-pushed and claimed this point, too. And then you'd really be in trouble here. Karth will 100% be the first to completely max out. Will they? I thought Hoploy was at, like, level 26. So, ahead of Karth on Phobies. I mean, I don't know what the stress levels are offhand, but... I mean, they're probably both max stress level, right? But yeah, it's hard for me to say in a game like Phobies that something is imbalanced when hypothetically both players have it. Now, you can, of course, talk about collection imbalances, and there's nothing that we can do about that. Like, Arth and Hoploy have more stuff. They have more levels. But if you're both given the identical tools and we actually have a compensating control in the form of an extra key for player 2 as compared to like chess where it's just a coin flip of who goes first, who goes second, we're better off than chess. So it should be closer. Although even in chess's case, like it's not unwinnable going second. But speaking of unwinnable, almost halfway through the game, and yeah, Attractor into boss. I know the Attractor came down first, but still. I forgot Hoploy, I meant them fair. I mean, I am curious if there's an Easter egg for when you max out a phobie. If the devs have, like, a hidden stress level phobie. You know what I mean? I mean, it's not stress level, but you get what I'm saying. We do get the Noxious Vomit. Oh, look, it's Cupcake. Lol. So Rossarius said in the notes that this was going to be close. This looks messy at best. So unless we get a body block here, this Attractor is dead, right? This Attractor is just dead. This will just walk up and annihilate it. Oh, okay. We get the Smiley, because if it goes here, then you can Smiley. You know, I don't mind Smiley as an answer to boss, but there are very narrow windows to make it work. And I don't think this is one of those windows. Because obviously you're going to lose Stabby. The Gravedigger's almost gone. Final Phobia is Innocuous. Well, maybe this isn't bad. It forces the Cupcake maybe into a scenario where it has to be used just for the heal. I don't love this. I don't love this. I think what needs to happen here is you... Why didn't they... Could they not have just killed this with other stuff, then they boss this? And then it's like... I guess then it... If they heal this, how much does this heal for? 1,000? Oh my god. Actually, this would have lived, I think. I think they didn't have enough damage to be able to go for it, otherwise they would have. Because I think between the heal and everything, I don't know that our hero would have been able to kill it, and then the boss gets to just tee off on everything. Ooh, we get the pull here and the Smiley connection. Finally onto the boss. I don't think it's good enough. If you could have killed this, maybe? A Wiggy action? I don't know if I love that. Oh no, there's a trap. I'm going to wager that our hero was running out of time because they still have 2 keys, and I don't really see a reason not to use the 2 keys in this scenario. So yeah, the Innocuous is going to cook our hero's team. This is before you consider that, yeah, there's only 2 keys left. This did get close. This did get close because obviously you could try and dodge the boss. Notably, it lives with 43 health. Ouchtown. But you're not going to be able to outlast all of this. Because your final 2 keys have to somehow kill a full health Innocuous / recover all the health here. There might have been, you know, like you Cassowary and kill this, but then this gets the first hit and you'll never be able to close it out against the Innocuous because of the range. But yeah, it actually did get pretty close. I am more positive on Smiley as an answer to boss and things than most other people, I think, at the moment. But it does have way more narrow usage than I would like. It kind of feels as though you have to be ahead. Okay, this is interesting. All right, plays are happening. Presumably it can kill this, and then this just doesn't have enough damage. 664. I was going to say, I wonder if an AWOL would have done it. But there's no way, like, an AWOL would have died. Actually, so here's the thing. I don't think you could kill the Electrocat and the AWOL. I don't know what Rossarius's collection looks like. But this is 600 damage. I don't know that you'd be able to kill this. It's just a numbers game that we'd have to see if an AWOL could tank a hit. Well, actually, like I said, it doesn't matter if it tanks the hit, actually. So if you went AWOL Electrocat, it either takes 2 hits to kill the Electrocat, and therefore the AWOL lives, and you can run it down. Or you kill the AWOL, and then you don't kill the Electrocat. The problem is, what they probably do is hit and run, kill the AWOL with a single hit, walk away, and then the Electrocat can't finish it because it needs 2 hits, and it'll only get 1. So it probably didn't matter. Probably didn't matter. But GG, pretty close there, Rossarius. It did actually get pretty tight. Lord Shinra, back on Eternal Monday. Run home or home run? Let's find out in this episode of Phobies Ball Z. Well, we were talking about DBZ earlier, so why not? You know, I don't think well, I take that back. I've seen episodes of Dragon Ball Z, Chad, but I don't think I've ever seen an episode, like, start to finish. Because as a kid, or, you know, even in adult days where, you know, you go to somebody's house and they just happen to have something on TV and maybe they were watching it, sort of thing, or as a kid somebody had it on, or it was on the TV at the place you happen to be or whatever. So I've definitely seen Dragon Ball Z, but I don't think I've ever watched an episode. So I only really know of Dragon Ball Z through memes directly. But either way, we're getting some Grave Digger breaks going down. Fairly similar openers here. I have a feeling our hero here is going to do the karst. By that, I mean, ye old high five. It's become a karst regular on many maps. This map included. Pretty much any small maps. Karst has been really pushing for that particular strategy. Bad guy banking up to 9. Will our hero follow suit? Probably, yeah. Probably. Notably getting the first bow mangles hit here. I do like this, especially putting your opponent in the position where they have to decide here. Do they want the Henrietta and they're going to lose one of these 2 phobies? Or are they going to allow the Henrietta to live? All right, they're going to finish it off with a jar. So, never mind. Neither case. They're going to get both. They're going to get both things out of that Sophie's Choice. But it is a free cheap shot on the opposing bow mangles. Hero banking up to 11 makes sense. They do have the 1 key advantage. Of course, they can recap a point. In fact, I would have liked to have seen the cat make its way down to here, cap this point, and then put the bow back. That way, you are in position to threaten. You have a triple panic point advantage, put additional pressure on your opponent. If they want to recap their points, you're in position to punish them. But bad guy went with a Blulian here. Putting more pressure on this bow. I don't love the Gravedigger positioning. But the reason I don't love it is because Jar can just get onto the stem. I wonder if it would have been better to aggressively position the Murder Wing just to trap some of their Phobies. Like, if you want to kill this Murder Wing, you have to give some Phobies up. Because High Five's going to AoE the Heart, the Jar, the Bow / Bluelian, whatever. And if they don't come after the High Five, then you can just snipe the Jar. I'd have to look more closely at it, but we're just going through. The Tiny Tim response is very interesting. Obviously super tanky. It prevents the High Five from actually connecting. It does force a retreat from Shinra here, at least temporarily, so it is doing its job. But Bad Guy is maxed out. Our hero with 6 keys remaining. Bad Guy with 4. I imagine our hero did the math, but I kind of wish the High Five was here. Like, leave it where it was, so it can both threaten as well as hit this point. Because if you're healing anything here, or if you're hitting anything here, you are healing with the High Five. But either way, we are getting a attractor to supplement. This will, of course, allow the High Five to connect. And again, I think I would have liked to have seen the High Five aggressively positioned. Because then you could have... If the High Five was where the Gravedigger is, A, this play is not available to Bad Guy. B, you could pull something from that position to let High Five to get in behind it, and again, start AoEing things. The risk, of course, is that the Jar was on the stem. Double hits off the stem. Hi, puppy. The baby. The baby. Oh, please, chat. It takes some time to get comfortable, chat. Yes, Harley, we're talking about you. You're a good girl. Lay down, good girl. She loves doing that, too. Where she's, like, hanging out the side of her car with her arm over the side of the bed. It's hilarious to me. She's a good baby. Harley? Yeah, you're a good girl. All right, chat, we're back. Took a puppy break. Regardless, we are going to get the yoink here. Bad Guy deciding to get a little aggression of their own. Tiny Tim occupying our hero's stem. And Bluelian, of course, no slouch in the damage department themselves. But then again, now your whole team is here. When High Five is here, you can try and race. It is a thing you can do. I don't know how well it's going to work out for you. But Bad Guy's putting up a fight. This is probably a dead Bo Mangles. I have to imagine. Ooh. Tiny Tim going for it. Bluelian. But you're going after the wrong Phobies here. There is a High Five on your doorstep. Bonk. Bonk. Triple panic point advantage. Admittedly, I don't know that there was a whole lot that Bad Guy could do, to be honest. You know, once they push their team up, instead of trying to contest this High Five, which is just like, okay. On one hand, it's so obvious, right? High Five is a big heart threat, right? But on the other hand, I can absolutely see where people just don't respect it. It's like, oh, well, I can do this other stuff and get back in time. And then all of a sudden you go, oh, wait, that's like over 2,000 damage a turn on top of the panic points. And I was losing. It's tough. Snot beat out of him. GG. the lighting that alien looked like Graylien? It did, actually. I did have that thought cross my mind. All right, chat. Got to take a quick break. I will be right back, and then we'll take a peek at some other games. Don't go away, chat. All right, chat, we're back. Let's pull up the next game. Ooh, another Akira off. Who could have seen that coming? Although, to be honest, Charon, I think, is getting more value on that map because of that. Or could have more value because of that. I still think the Alien Engineer Brony push is the most interesting thing on that map, but we'll see. All right, next one up is Renamon. Step right up, one of my least favorite maps. I mean, we were looking at games on this map. Anyway, CDI link, I won. Lol. I'll admit I don't know what that means. I don't know what that one means, chat. I don't know if Renamon's in chat right now. But... Whoa, hold on. Eternal Night? Really? Really? Are you sure? The bad guy goes with a little snowball action. Honestly, I haven't seen too many snowballs on this map as an opener in a long time. Obviously, snowball is kind of the generic opener. It's from the CDI, the Legend of Zelda games. Sure. But yeah, Eternal Night here. I don't know about that one. I do like Eternal Night. And I think it doesn't quite get the respect it deserves. But it is kind of tough. Obviously, this Bachelor also kind of regretting some of its position. Was this during the Dimensional event? Is that why this is happening? I'm getting Dimensional event vibes from this. Bachelor, Eternal Night, and then these. Yes, okay. Chat is confirming. Dimensional event, go. I love the way Jinsting doesn't just walk. It uses its weird arm things to help itself walk. It's so funny to me. It's like we're going to get a little cooked Eternal Night action, maybe? Ooh, the Eternal Night's actually going to get a shot on something. There isn't much to follow up, though. Unless Terraform is live, which I doubt. Terraform is live. Oh, we're going to break this. I was going to say you could roll down here, break this, swing, and then follow it up with a snowball. That would be cute, but that's not to be. Instead, it's Pescetti, one of the more unsettling phobies. Cat does not quite trade. I mean, it's gonna trade, but, like, the Eternal Night only just gets to soften up the Jinsting. And we have a stalemate. So, the lava tile on this map kind of causes some interesting plays to happen sometimes. But honestly, I wonder if this map would be better if the lava tile was just a panic point. What do you think, chat? It feels as though most of the time... Oh, broke the dimensional spree. Got a Hydra. It feels as though most of the time we'd be better off if this was an additional panic point. I see a lot of stalemates, and this would push it a little bit. I don't know. Then again, we also have plenty of maps where there are odd panic points, and realistically, there isn't a meaningful change. Ooh, I like the aggression here with the Pescetti. I like the aggression here. We'll get hit with double Jinsting and possibly a snowball. might be enough damage to kill it. Certainly dead after the disease, but if this tanks it, which now there's no way for the snowball to hit, Rusty? I don't know about that one, bad guy. So here's the big thing. Pischetti actually represents a decent amount of damage output. So, like, we go for the disease. I do like that. I like the disease play here. Muffin, another non-dimensional. You should be ashamed. No, Pischetti deals and has less health, but I use it more because it can be healed. I mean, if you're doing dimensionals, like, Pischetti's fine. I just don't like Pischetti overall. I'm not a huge fan of it. Oh, rather than Foul? I like Pischetti, or Foul more than Pischetti just because of the, like, it does an enormous amount of damage output, and the disease is a little bit better. You do, of course, have to pay an extra key, but I don't know. I recently played against... I actually got to play a game offline, chat. I played on Eternal Monday, and I went Boss Gonzo because I felt like it. And my opponent went Foul, and it's just like, it did nothing. I guess it made me spawn a Muffin, so that my boss would live a little bit longer, but then I just bodied them. Like, the Foul didn't matter, and I feel like Pischetti would have done even worse, obviously. We get the Rusty connection on Hydra, which is clearly the intent. 3 keys for bad guy, 1 for Renamon. The Hydra's going to take a beating, but bad guy offers up Smiley because reasons? I'm not clear on what bad guy's plan is here. Oh, well, I guess the Smiley was going to die to the disease anyway, so it didn't matter. Never mind. Little challenge play to make sure you don't end up on the lava, sort of. I don't know if that really counts as a challenge play, but either way. Jill. No, both zombies. Do any of the zombies bite? Every zombie slaps, doesn't it? There are no zombie phobies that bite, because you have Jill and Ted, Conductor, High Five and Chuck, Unbearable. The Resurrect phobies, if you count them. I don't think any of the zombies bite. Somebody let me know in the comments. I don't know what Ginseng's doing. But I do know that bad guy has to sprint around the map trying desperately to avoid connections from these one movers. Eventually our hero will checkmate them. Realistically, this Clinico is going to die. It has nowhere to go, so then it's just solely Ginseng. We'll get the heal on Ginseng for what that's worth. Bad guy honorably not going to just run around like an idiot. Technically creep with poison, but ranged. It does. I guess we can count that one for now. So we have a true biting undead. Specifically zombie. But GG. Well played. Yeah, pretty sure. All of them, they like throw something or they slap or, you know. I guess Chuck also threw catapults. You know, Chad, I was considering from now on, whenever somebody submits multiple games, to never do extras. But, because the idea would be, like, just make sure that you're submitting a worthwhile game. Instead of submitting, like, 85 games, which we've had some people do that on many occasions. But the problem is I don't know. I kind of like just doing the 10, and there are nights where, you know, especially after a patch or a rollover, where we might have, there's only like 6 games in the queue then, kind of thing. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm kind of torn. Well, this one, I don't know if this is on. It is not favorited. And it says it's back from 11 or 112, so that is not happening. So we will instead look at this one. We'll still go with the same person. There are two here, so which one is it? I guess it's this one. All right, so we're doubling up a little bit. Potenzia here on Locker Room Funk against Lord Shinra. Potenzia is our hero. Testing match with Shinra, trying out stuff. Turns out on small map, Akira just kind of dies. Throw enough numbers at it, as it should be. But I am curious to see how this plays out. We'll see if we can ID any errors, misplays that allowed for the Akira to go down when it quote-unquote shouldn't have. Now, on this map, Akira feels like it should be super strong, right? There's a ton of disease tiles. You're going to, Akira, and then all of a sudden your whole opposing team is diseased because they're probably going to pull back. So you Akira them forward, then you pounce on them, and they're diseased. But 2 points. One, just about everybody goes mass mechanicals on this map. Two, the poison tiles still kind of suck. They just don't push that much damage. So unless they go dimensionals on this map, which is super rare, although ironically, Kira's a dimensional, I don't know that it matters. Instead, we get a Hydra opener from Shinra. Well, an Innocuous opener into Hydra. But this is kind of what a lot of people go for. Now, these are... Did they go to level 1 here? They did, in fact, go to level 1s. So we get a Bloat. We're going to get a good look at Bloat in level 1s. I hear a lot of positive things about Bloat, and to be honest, I just don't see them. It just doesn't happen. People will tell me all the time, oh, well, Bloat was great for me in this game, or Bloat was great for me in that game, and it's like, okay. Like, I believe people when they say these things, but I also am skeptical at the same time, because it's just like, people can say anything they want. It's one of those trust but verify kind of scenarios. So we're getting some repositioning. The Hydra mirror. I do remember screenshots of similar setups to this in people's complaints about Locker Room Funk. And honestly, the investment in the 8 keys or 10 keys respectively, 12 keys for Potenzia, is interesting because a lot of people have stated on many occasions that you don't have to do any of this. You could instead just bank right to whatever the big thing is. But to be honest, already it feels like Shinra's on the ropes. There are 2 electricals, admittedly not spectacular ones, but there's also an attractor here, which is super scary. Cerberus. So this is actually very interesting to me. The reason I say this is very interesting is I think the answer to attractor is big dummies. It doesn't actually have to be Cerberus, but a Cerberus, quagmires, alligators, that sort of thing. You have big dummies, and then the big dummies punch stuff good. You just walk up and you go, please attractor me, because then I have a Cerberus on your doorstep. They are just mountains of HP, and as a result, it is very, very difficult to actually take them down, let alone the things that they are then body blocking for when you attractor pull. So, by that logic, do they answer Akira's? On a large map, it's very difficult to do this because you can just spread out, set up a concave or whatever, and then even if you Akira pull, it can be very challenging to not be able to just get away from either the Cerberus or to isolate it because of the way you pulled or whatever. On a small map, way more challenging, but how about that glob? The Karst special, as it were, Akira with glob. It is something that many players have tried, but Karst, I feel, has been the one that pushes it the most. Unfortunately for our orange player, Potenzia, our hero, has enough keys to get a yoink, so like this glob is not going to do a whole hell of a lot. And this does very much feel like a build order loss in the sense that Potentia should win this, assuming both players laid out ahead of time what Phobies they were going to go. And I feel like the Cerberus was a direct response to a lot of this, but if the players laid out what they were going to go to begin with, it feels as though there was just no world in which Shinra takes this. I don't agree with this, though. Oh, I guess you have to. So you have to do it this way because there are two poles. So realistically, one of them is going to... Like, you can't kill them both. You could probably kill the spider. But you're not going to kill the spider and the attractor, meaning that you are going to end up having the glob get pulled off of the body. What the hell just happened? I looked away to look at chat for a second, and then suddenly the glob was on the... Okay, we got the spider yoink. That's actually kind of hilarious. And now Shinra's just in a rough spot. Shinra's in a rough spot. Honestly, like, the glob, I think, might have been the turning point. I don't know offhand. I don't have oh, well, it obviously should have been this instead. But here's the thing. There was already an attractor on the board. Unless you kill the attractor, the glob is never doing anything. Down goes Akira. I was about to say, if the Akira lives, then Shinra should have a chance. But, like, at this point, you need 2 hits there. Now your Hydra, which is damaged, is letting 2 hits happen first from the opponent's Hydra, and you don't have enough to do it. Although, to be honest, 450 damage, I have to wonder if there was a chance for, like... Okay. There probably wasn't a way for Shinra to address the Cerberus other than Glob. Or maybe there was. I'd have to spend more time thinking about this. But despite looking horrendous for Shinra, this came down to 450 health on a Hydra. And that's with arguably an entire team full of hard counters. You had Glob and there were 2 poles. You had multiple electricals and you had multiple mechanicals and you had 2 electrical phobies on top of an attractor. It felt like it was, again, a build order strategy thing. But the fact that this came so close feels like there has to be a turn here where Shinra could have turned this around. This might be a game worth coming back to be honest. I don't know if we should break this one out. It is interesting because this seems like, again, as I started out with, this should be a good Akira map. Maybe it is actually just a terrible Akira map because the poison is arguably irrelevant, but at the same time, there's almost nowhere to hide from Akira. Potentia did a great job of doing that. And ultimately, the attractor did most of what Akira did, but for 3 less keys. It still feels as though Akira could still be absurd here. Which is insane to think about, but either way, GG. Well played. Well played. Very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. All right, we got a quick one here from Dino Nuggy. Been trying the strategy that I don't know if someone has tried before, but it's been working for me. We're on detention here. And this is a 9-turn game. Turn 1 squid. All right, I can see why the strategy has been working. I can see why this strategy has been working, and I don't know that it has too much to do with the squiggles. Joking aside, I do wonder if something similar to the Alien Engineer, opener on The Floor is Lava could work here. I was about to say, if that doesn't die to fire, this is actually terrible. So you trade evenly here, 2 for 2, but you're up 2-0 panic points. What level is the squiggles? Oop. Come on, game. The level 9 squiggles. So it's actually a comparatively under-leveled squiggles. I mean, I don't hate the general idea here. But the thing is I don't think most people are going to open Gesundheit Pass. It's the problem. I'd have to compare numbers on level, but I would imagine the squiggles... Like, most people as player 2 are going to open Cassowary 1 key, or Unicorn Cassowary, or Unicorn 1 key, and you can only get 2 of those to connect corn and something else onto the squiggles if it's in this position. And it's not necessarily going to, you know, get there right away because you need two turns worth of movement. And of course, then they can supplement it with other stuff. So I think this works similar to how High Five has been working, where people just don't respect it and they just go, oh, it's this phobie. That phobie's bad. And surprise. Also, by the way, the jar lived. Wait, what? Could you not have just won? So, like, you hit this again. You walk Cassowary here, and then you send Droney here? Like, you don't need to heal this. Actually, the Wiggy could kill this, too. You probably just win anyway. Yeah, you just... Because this is going to get pulled on to the panic point. Yep. Oh, you can... Anyway. You win 8 different ways. So, yeah, pretty aggressive opener. I do like this. I'd be interested in trying this out, to be perfectly honest. But I am skeptical of bum rushing squiggles to the heart, because I imagine people would respond better than Gesundheit Pass. There's a level of, okay, that's just not a good answer. But GG. All right, chat. I think that is our 10th game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. It is fact. That is our 10th game for the evening. And you know what also is? That's a puppy. She's a good girl. Very good girl. We'll be back tomorrow. We got more Darkwood to cover. Darkwood to play. I'd use squiggles on the map with conveyor and a panic point 2 tiles away from the heart. One of the new ones, Dearly Departed. One with like the abyss tiles up at the top and then the split conveyors. Different one. I think that's the only one with a stem that close to the heart. One other one that might, but I don't remember there being a stem. other map that I'm thinking. But yeah, we have Darkwood tomorrow. I'm very anxious to finish that game. I want to know how it ends. I might do another playthrough with that game, chat. I don't think I'll stream it. A little hydrate action. I don't think I'll stream that game again, unless people really want it. Like, maybe we do a playthrough around Halloween or something. Or, like, Halloween in May or something like that, you know, like things. Because April would be 6 months away, so... And I don't know. We'll think about it. We still got to finish Choo Choo Charles, but there's like 8 or 9 other games I want to get on stream, and the list keeps piling up. So we'll see. I'm losing the enthusiasm for playing Hunt. Sorry, Luffy. There was a brief window there where I was like, yeah, I really want to play Hunt, but I don't know if I want to. I'll have to see. But regardless, we'll see. Choo Choo Charles has a new mode? What does that mean? It was a single-player game. What do you mean there's a new mode? I never finished it. We had played through... It's only like a 3-hour game, and I feel like we played through 2.5 hours of it last year. A harder mode? Okay, so it's the same thing, just with a higher difficulty. I do want to see the ending of that game, too, because that game was just batshit. That was ridiculous. But anyway, chat. I'm going to call it an evening. Like I said, we'll be back tomorrow for variety. Hopefully people come out there. If you're watching this and you made it this far, A, thank you. B, likes and subscribes. But C, check out the surveys for Fright Night and other tournaments. I wanted people's feedback for events. How can we help them grow? How can I stop being frustrated at all of the issues that we run into? Namely, how do we solve those issues so I'm not frustrated at the problems? We'll have to see. We'll have to see, because I'm not sure at this time. But I want to work on it. I got to get something out to the devs for Fright Night 13. Do yoga on stream. I don't think anybody wants that. But yeah, I got to talk to the devs about Fright Night 13. I got to figure out for my wife, like, how real life scheduling is going to work for that. Figure out a good weekend, that sort of thing. Monster of the Week will be up either before or after this video. I don't know. For Tiny Terrors, if you're interested in that, what it is, check out the Discord. We'll see. We'll see. But that's going to do it for now. So as always, everyone, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and tune in next time for more random stuff.